Yo ho, everybody! Today we're just going to share a moment in life. The question every sailor will get is, have you ever been in a storm? Well, I guess we can now say yes. Guess what happened to us? Remember that little guy named the Gulf Stream? Fresh reminder about the Gulf Stream.
The Gulf Stream is a warm current that circles around the Atlantic Ocean and greatly affects its ecosystem. It terrifies a bunch of people. Stories of enormous waves frighten waterway sailors who will remain stuck in the famous no-name harbor for days, weeks, even sometimes months, waiting for the right weather window to cross the Gulf Stream.
Unless you decide to cross during a gale-force northerly wind, then it gets fun. Like for these guys. So, on Friday, April 9th, we finally left the Bahamas after 3 months of cruising and adventures in those beautiful islands.
So, we're leaving.
The Bahamas are just behind us. Our visa's cruising permit is finished.
It's expired. We have to leave.
Hurricane season's coming. We're doing 6 knots downwind. Very nice 15 knots of wind, which gives us a perfect sailing condition right now. There's 700 miles, 700 islands. There's always something for anybody over there. It's pretty nice. We had a great time. The great thing about cruising, we meet so many nice people, so many great people. She doesn't have anything to say about it.
And we feel so fortunate to have had the chance to be here during a world pandemic. So thanks to Hugo mostly.
Correct. Now,
on to our next adventure!
correct. Well, now first.
Hey, something!
Here is what happened to us after.
Oh my gosh, he's so...
I know I make that effect. So we decided to leave on a Friday evening after parking in front of the BTC tower because...
I had an audition, so I needed... Oh, I can't see that.
So the next day evening, we timed our travel to arrive in Key West, or more or less 3 days later. So we left on a nice evening, good winds. We did a very nice overnight. Next day at midday, we decided to make a little stop at
Lobos K. K Lobos.
K Lobos. It's a tiny little island. It's just a little spit of sand with a huge lighthouse on it to main for the Bahamas channel.
Yeah, it's like a little island. It's this big lighthouse.
Yes.
Diving. There was a bunch of barracudas. It was not fun.
It was fun. And then we kept sailing to the point of 2 days of sailing and 2 nights of sailing. You know, everything was fine. The wind actually calmed down. I had to turn on the motor. Alexa decided it's the best time to...
Oh, you know, we had been in the sun all day. I was tired at 6 o'clock. I was like, because when we're sailing, but it's important to go back.
You know, like she could have just said like, take a nap. And then I was outside and I see this big, huge line of clouds with 5 circumnus next to each other. And I'm like,
I don't think it's circumnus.
And then I was like, oh, it might get windy. So I was just jokingly like, oh, now it's just the calm before the storm. So Alexa just went down to take a nap.
And then eventually there's like a big shake. Like something goes like, boom. I popped out my head from you know, the quarter berth there. And I asked Hugo if everything was okay. And then the...
Shit.
No, I don't want to say it. I was going to say I did hit the fan.
The fan.
Wait a second, this one. And then the...
Hit the fan.
Here is what happened in the United States and the Bahamas on that same night, Sunday, April 11th. Casual, huh? Oh, and here is our version of the events. So, remember, I was taking a nap. Then I felt a shake. So I popped my head out of the quarter berth and said,
Hugo, is everything okay?
Nope. The mainsail just ripped.
In my life, whenever I've asked this question to Hugo, he always have answered yes.
Until that day. Because basically we were in the wrong place at the wrong moment. So guess where we were? In the middle of the Gulf Stream. Well, you know, first in the beginning of the wind, it started getting super windy super quick. So we started like when we got like to 35, 40, the mainsail, which was already reefed, started ripping under the reef line. So we went up the boat, managed to bring the mainsail down.
Within 5 minutes, we were completely soaked, like soaked.
Actually, not yet.
I was actually.
So anyway, we managed to bring the mainsail down. By that time, I started the motor so we could try to stay upwind while we bring the mainsail down. But very quickly, the waves just started building very quickly. So first of all, by that time, the wind was blowing 45, 50 knots. So we recorded up to 55 knots of wind.
And actually, our wind indicator at the top of the mast actually ripped in two, broke in half.
It broke up. Exactly. So first the waves started picking up, getting bigger. So there was no way to keep up with the motor or anything. So we just turned around with the waves. But the waves were getting so big that it was actually becoming dangerous. So first of all, what we had to do, we had to get a little bit of sail out to get some extra speed so we could have better control over the boat and run down the waves so they avoided crash right on us, and have always make sure that we're going in the right direction when the waves actually crash onto the boat. So we started taking out a little bit of the genoa out.
The two of us together.
Yeah, and we quickly found out that the locking mechanism wasn't even strong enough to retain the rope.
So I was supposed to see that.
Yes.
Once we put out some of the genoa in front, Hugo told me to lock the rope, which I did, and within the span of a second, the lock was not even strong enough, and the rope slipped through it out of my hands, and the whole genoa was like all the way back in.
Actually, not the whole of it.
No,
we would have broken the mast.
Oh.
So we were forced to try to drive. I was able to drive downwind to get the a little bit to the other side too, so the genoa just fold in. So we're able to winch it back in without it breaking. Because if you break the rope and your genoa goes out, either your genoa will rip or your mast will fall down. So luckily, I was able to drive the boat through the waves, which is quite a challenge.
He was so good. He was like a superhero.
While helping Alexia to winch back in the extra genoa. And so we had about maybe 10 feet of, not even we have 7 feet by 10 feet of genoa, very small. We were going maybe 7 to 9 knots going down the waves, which gives just with that little piece of sail, so we have better control on the direction of the boat when the wave would crash on us.
And the waves were crashing. They were crashing in the cockpit.
Exactly. So within 20-25 minutes maximum, the wave built up to 15-20 foot high. Very sharp wave. The wave would crash over the back of the boat into the cockpit. 2 times I had the water all the way up to my knees in the cockpit.
Thankfully, the water didn't come inside the boat. We just got really lucky.
Unfortunately, 2 times a wave just crashed just next to the boat. It was too late for me to react and get the perfect angle of the boat, so we actually hit the boat, got the boat flat. Everything that's behind us here,
all of this,
went up and to the other side of the boat.
Oh my god!
First she would scream because the most dangerous for the boat is if you're sidewind and a wave just crash on their boat. It might take you down the wave and eventually you might catch and then just do a complete flip, which is really not what you do.
That night, I was really feeling my frenzy death. I thought I was gonna die.
Now, are you ready to see what the storm looked like?
No, but really, I couldn't even see the front of the boat. I got Alexia to turn off. Basically, it was not.
It was nighttime.
It was not nighttime. Actually, the clouds were so thick and dark that it cut out any possible light coming from anywhere. We could not see anywhere. We couldn't see. I could not even see the front of the boat. I would, the tiny bit of light, the wave that would be crashing near the boat, I could see them because of that, and that's it.
Also, it was nighttime. Also, I was busy staying alive, so I did not have any time to film anything. Let me tell you that. I thought I was gonna die.
The first part of the storm lasted about an hour or 2. Then the wind calmed down a little bit, 35 to 45 knots, and stayed the same pretty much for about 6 hours. The weather conditions we reached actually qualify as a pure storm, reaching level 10 on the Beaufort Scale. 10 out of 12. 12 being a hurricane. Go, go, go.
This is the aftermath of one of the worst nights I ever had sailing it. Both of our sails are not fully in function anymore. Luckily we still have a motor. And we are near safe haven, but it was quite a night. everything's a mess. So luckily, eventually the weather did calm down a little bit, go down to 35-40 knots, Beaufort Scale 8, and we were able to start sailing again towards the Keys because the wind was not bringing us this way.
I was like emotionally recovering from everything. I'm like, maybe I'll be able to cry soon.
Right. We got there, we were like celebrating.
Oh my God, you saved me.
And then, you know, the wind started picking up.
I like picking up.
A cold front shows up all the way from the south, completely opposite direction of the wind before, and it is pushing us towards the Keys. So, tell me about it.
I'm halfway between laughing and crying. So I hear the radio. We left in the night. We left 2 days ago, and last night, as we were making dinner, big gust of wind, huge storm, 45, 50 knots of wind. I was taking a nap, but then I peeked my head and said, Hugo, is everything okay? He's like, no, the mainsail just broke. The mainsail ripped, and then we had crazy waves. Everything fell in the boat. Water came inside.
And what's up with the radio?
Huh?
What's up with the radio?
The radio, there's a boat that flipped around.
Yeah.
So they're trying to rescue him. And water came inside the boat. And now it's raining, obviously. And our jib just broke too. So both our sails are broken now. Everything's great.
Wind is still crazy, a little bit better. Just to make things better, we're getting so close to the shore that we have to zigzag through lobster spots. And if we would catch our propeller in one of those ropes, we would lose our engine, and then we would be really fucked.
Also, during the storm, the transmission of the motor broke. So Hugo had to fix the transmission of the motor in the middle of the storm.
We have no more piece of sail that cannot go upwind. The wind is pushing us right up to shore, and only the motor is keeping us from getting in real trouble. It's not very good. But hey, we're doing better out than the capsized boat with people overboard. So, for now. It's still a lot better than last night. Imagine. That's all I have to say.
Last night was terrifying.
If we take a closer look, in the night of April 11th, sliding into April 12th, here's what happened to other boaters. Thankfully, all we had to repair was our two sails.
Now we're inside the Florida Keys.
Look out, if this is possible, I'm going to put all settings to the US Coast Guard on channel 16.
So Hugo is sewing,
Mending the sails, as they say.
yeah, by hand. And I am making a catch for the mainsail.
So, in conclusion, here's what we take from our experience riding up a storm in the Gulf Stream.
You know what? It was terrifying. But honestly, yeah, it was really scary. Hugo stayed like super confident. He was making jokes all the time. He looked like he knew what he was doing. So like,
Really good at pretending like I know what I'm doing.
I knew. I mean, I thought we were safe and we'd probably make it.
One of the mistakes I've made is that in the future I will put my door closer because it was a place where I could not go and reach it in these conditions. There was no way, and we would have needed to put the door in. But the one thing I didn't know is that our boat had never been in that kind of weather. But luckily, it was a great test for our boat. Our boat survived very well. We had a broken mainsail. Our wind indicator got broken. My surfboard got ripped off and broken, but that's the only thing that broke. The rigging stayed safe, the direction stayed good, so I was very happy about that.
And he's a really good captain. He saved us.
Yay! Yeah, it was fun.
It was not fun.
But it's really good to know both the vessel and the crew are strong enough to handle tougher weather. Now let's be real. We all know what you're wondering. What happened when they got back in the United States of America? What truly happened during their Bahamian journey? How could you turn this old boat into one that can conquer any, or almost, given storm? What is Hugo's tattoo? Well, no news for anyone. Stay tuned for another episode of Pirate Life Adventures, and your questions shall be answered. If you watch our videos, we'd love for you to take the time to comment, subscribe, and share if you dare, y'all. Farewell, Buccaneers and spectators.